We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Courage is knowing what not to fear. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. It can instill in others the perception that you are a person to be respected. It would be foolish to talk about your private life, which should not be revealed, and then regret that I wish I hadn't told you when I got home. Don't brag about yourself. What you brag about before others even acknowledge you devalues the work and makes you more humble. A person who only boasts about himself every time he meets gives offense to the other person. Cultivate humility and avoid unnecessary envy and jealousy. Sincere people don't feel the need to constantly brag about their success. Such people know their worth and do not seek validation from others. Continuing to talk about your good deeds or achievements can make you look arrogant, and people may start to avoid you. The measure of a man is what he does with his power. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. Ideas are the source of all things. The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when adults are afraid of the light. Excess generally causes reaction and produces a change in the opposite direction, whether it be in the seasons or in individuals or in governments. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Also, if you talk too much about yourself, people, rather than getting closer, it gets farther away. Human relationships continue to change over time. It's very close now, but we don't know what will happen in a few years. No relationship can last forever. If your relationship goes bad with someone who knows your deepest personal life well, there will be a lot of things you need to worry about unnecessarily. In particular, I must be careful not to expose your bad habits or unfortunate stories to the judgment and criticism of others. Ideas are the source of all things. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. Ideas are the source of all things. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Humans are hurting just because someone else is more than you. Everyone claps in front of them and seems to be happy together, but in their hearts they are not. At the same time, It is easy to act as if it is natural to ask for or expect something and receive more. Eventually, the relationship comes to an end. Swearing at someone makes you look negative and damages your own reputation. Excess generally causes reaction and produces a change in the opposite direction, whether it be in the seasons or in individuals or in governments. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. The measure of a man is what he does with power. There are not many people who sincerely worry about your private life and comfort you. Rather, your story spreads around and is consumed as a topic to relieve boredom, or one day it will become a dagger and stab you. The three things that hurt a person the most in the world are anguish, quarrels, and an empty wallet. Among them, an empty wallet hurts people the most. So don't tell even your closest friends how much money you have. Each of us has a different environment and situation. It is not always necessary or helpful to give opinions or advice about the behavior of others. It is enough just to empathize and listen.